Hello. My name is Matt Soul, or Ashley, whatever you prefer to call me by. But I have decided that alongside scripted content, I also want to do, just unscripted, just word vomit type content. And I have decided to call these episodes, videos, series, whatever fits the best. I want to call it Yappy Hour. Because, I don't know, I just fucking think it's funny. So yeah, instead of my regular scripted content, it's just gonna be freeballing, basically. Whatever comes out of my mouth, whatever comes to my mind. It's just, we're just vibing over here. So, while I was thinking of doing this type of content, I, was thinking about a couple of ideas that I want. And the first thing that came into my mind, which I'm sure will not be a surprise to people who know me, I wanted to talk about the very specific comparisons between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes. Like I said, if you know literally anything about me, Bucky Barnes, that's babygirl, okay? Like, that's my baby girl. And I think a lot of people don't really notice, and this is me specifically talking about the MCU, the movies, because I don't know jack shit when it comes to the comics. So I think a lot of people don't really realize how Bucky and Steve's stories are the same story, but they're essentially free will versus fate, And I think that deserves a lot more recognition. I'm getting spiked red a lot, so I'm worried that I'm almost talking too loud, so I'm actually going to back my mic up a little bit and hope it doesn't cause any issues. Oh god, maybe I should pause and check my video. Ugh. Okay, I checked my recording, we're fine. We're all good. Anyways, as I was saying, Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes, free will versus fate. Their stories. Holy voice crack. Their stories are essentially. I'm pretty much just repeating myself. So when it comes to the whole like free will versus fate argument, if you look at their stories on like these two lines, we find that if this is Steve's line, then he kind of has like these crossroads where he can make the choices, or it's something that he desperately wants to do. Versus on Bucky's line, he doesn't have these other options that exist over here, at least not until later on in his story. All of his choices, especially while he is like World War II Bucky and Winter Soldier Bucky, all of the choices, they're on this side. He has no choice. That's literally a part of his story. He's, the brainwashed super soldier. But basically, when you look back at their stories, it literally starts, from the very beginning of the first Avenger movie. We meet Steve Rogers and we meet Bucky, and we find out that Bucky is drafted into the military versus Steve Rogers, who is literally doing everything he can, going to these different places or even lying on his application, resume, whatever it would be referred to, because he is making the active choice to do these things so he can be in the military versus Bucky, who has no choice. So that's really the first big one that we see. I feel like the next big one in this sequence is that Steve Rogers chooses to be experimented on. He does all of these things to prove himself, and the people agree that he looks like a good candidate for these experiments that are going on to make a super soldier. But then we turn around and we look to the other side, that is Bucky. He doesn't have a choice. He gets held as a POW and he gets experimented on against his will. Is that the right phrasing? He doesn't have a choice to be experimented on. And then we go a little bit further down the line, even towards the end of the movie, we learn that Steve Rogers, aka Captain America now, he makes the active decision to put himself in ice. The whole reason why Captain America gets frozen for how long was that? You need to move my water bag. Let's see. I need to open Chrome. How long was Steve Rogers frozen? 66 years. Okay, yeah. So he made He was frozen between 1945 and 2012, so 67 years. So he went into the ice. He was 27? What? That's crazy. I didn't know that he was only 27. Okay, we're keeping you. But basically, he makes the active decision to crash his plane into the ice. He doesn't necessarily know that he's going to be frozen for these 67 years that he's frozen, but ultimately, at the end of the day, he made that decision. And it isn't until the next Captain America movie that we turn around and, we're learning a bit more about Bucky. And, with their brainwashing and basically the assignments they give him and the stuff that they tell him to do, they also forcefully freeze him in, his little chamber or whatever in order to prolong his life. So he does not get a choice in being frozen. And even when either one of them comes out of the ice, Steve Rogers has the decision and makes the conscious decision to continue to be Captain America and basically be the good guy. Where we turn around and we look at Bucky Barnes, and he's not fully conscious. He's not fully aware of the things that he's doing, and he ends up being the Winter Soldier, aka a bad guy. You could even, if you wanted to, go as far as to argue that, they do and don't get a chance of their weapon or whatever. Captain America gets to choose his vibranium shield. On the other hand, Bucky Barnes doesn't get to choose to get his arm amputated and then end up with a metal arm. I mean, he does later on get to... it's kind of sort of a choice where he gets to switch out to his vibranium arm later on in the movies. But, at the end of the day, he wouldn't have a need for the vibranium arm if he never had his metal arm in the first place that they just gave to him. If you look at there's like the small cutscene that shows this small moment where Bucky Barnes, arm is kind of amputated at around like maybe like the elbow-ish, maybe even further up into the bicep or his upper arm. But they amputate his arm all the way up into the shoulder, Like he didn't get a choice. He did not get a choice in that. Oh, baby girl. This Loki makes me emotional. Like I feel maternal towards him. Bucky Barnes, I just want to like wrap you up in a little blanket and keep you safe. And do not talk to me about the fact that he's probably going to be one of the people that dies in Avengers Doomsday. I don't want to hear it right now. I'm not ready to talk about it. Everybody and their mama knows that, you know, with the movie contracts and the fact that he signed with DC, that, you know, there, and then the whole like, oh, the Thunderbolts are gonna have one of the Thunderbolts is going to die in the movie. We all know it's probably going to be Bucky, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay? Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Because what do you mean they're going to just, like, kill him off and I'm supposed to act like I'm okay? Like, that's been babygirl since middle school. And I am now a woman in my 20s. What do you mean I'm supposed to be just okay with Bucky Barnes no longer existing? Like, genuinely, like, low-key. Like, why? Like, genuinely low-key, if they write that out, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm being so dead serious. Bucky Barnes has gone through so much in his life. And, you know, he overcame his trauma. You know, he did his little therapy. He did all the things that he needed to do. And then all of a sudden, like, how are we going to come out with the Thunderbolts movie where, one, he's technically supposed to be the leader of the Thunderbolts, and he got, like, I don't know, a handful of minutes of screen time. Maybe that's why they didn't make him the leader, the real reasonable, like, leader in the movie, because they knew they were gonna fucking turn around and kill him. Like, what, a movie or two later? Girl, they piss me off. That, like, it pisses me off so bad. It genuinely pisses me off so bad. If you can tell, like, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable now in, like, the Yappathon rather than trying to, like, go off of... I'm sounding less scripted, and not that I was scripted before, but, like, we've entered the Yappathon. And this is what this type of video is all about. Like, how are we going to... They essentially just, like, made him happy and made him okay, and then turn around and, like, walked into the room and, like, him in the back of the head. Like, are we so serious? And when I walk into the theaters and I sit my little ass down and I watch that movie and they end up killing my man, you better believe that my friends are gonna have to drag my ass out of there, because I am going to be a hot mess. I'm gonna pack a box of tissues in my bag. Like, you know, people go to the little gas station and, like, pick up their movie snacks. I'm bringing a box of tissues. Because what the fuck do you mean, after I watched Avengers Doomsday, like, Bucky Barnes is probably no longer going to exist? Like, are we so fucking serious? Like, it already pisses me off that they killed Black Widow as early as they did, and then turn around and do the Thunderbolts, when in the I know I said I didn't know jack shit about the comics, but I know that Winter Widow is a thing in the comics. Comics, whatever the... I'm sorry, I'm so I'm so fucking heated. Because what do you mean they're gonna kill her and not even make Winter Widow a thing? Like, they literally, like, tried to give her, like, a romantic storyline with everybody except with who she was supposed to end up with. And, you know, I'm gonna say this with my chest. If they had put Sebastian Stan and Scarlett Johansson in a romantic relationship and I would have gotten to see them kiss on my screen, I would have been living my best life. I would have had the time of my life watching them kiss on the big screen. There, I said it. You know, that's what they took away from us. By not giving us Winter Widow, they took away Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan kissing on the big screen. And I don't think I'm ever going to recover from that. Dude, I'm so fucking loud. I'm peeking in the red so much, and I really hope I'm not fucking blowing the shit out of this mic. It sounded fine earlier, but whatever. Fuck it, we ball. And if it's fucked up while I'm editing it, then I don't know, I'm gonna whatever. Heaven help me. Like I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there. Okay. I think we're kind of to move on. At least to go into the next step of things. Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan. Baby girl. Sebastian Stan. The amount of shitty, just fucking shit from a butt movies I have watched because of that man. What's the movie called where he becomes the cannibal? I haven't watched this one yet, but I can't remember what it's called. Sebastian Stan. Fresh. That's the one where he becomes cannibal. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard that it's one of the better movies that he's in. I haven't watched Gossip Girl yet. Don't worry, it's on the watch list. I did watch Pam and Tommy. I liked Pam and Tommy. I thought it was very entertaining. Maybe there's some, I don't know. I liked it. Let's see. I, Tonya. I did love that movie. The Martian. I watched it I actually watched The Martian for a, assignment in a science. I think it was my physical science class in middle school. Shout out to that teacher. He was in Once Upon a Time. That's also on my watch list. The Bronze, dude. I have a love-hate relationship with The Bronze. I feel like The Bronze is, easily a, movie I could confidently say with my chest that it was kind of a guilty pleasure. Now, on the other hand, Endings, Beginnings, ass. Straight poo-poo in a diaper. That movie was so and if you know anything about me, I don't DNF things. That's just not me. If it's a book I'm not enjoying, if it's a song I'm not, unless I'm really, really not enjoying it. And even if it's a show, I'll try and give it another chance later on. But I don't really DNF things, right? But with Endings, Beginnings, baby, when it got to the last, I don't know, I was probably halfway through the movie, my eyes and my ears felt like they were bleeding. I just started scrolling. I was skipping through, wait until I saw that man on my screen. I didn't know. I kind of sort of understood what was going on, but if that man was not on my screen after about the halfway mark in that movie, I didn't know shit about it. I'm being so honest. But let me tell you, the only good thing about that movie was that man. Okay? I will say that with my full chest. It's like when you know how when you shit, right? And you eat corn. And the corn comes out in this shit. Well, imagine that, but if you digested a jewel or a crystal instead, and you're just waiting for it to pass, and you can see the whole gem in this big pile of shit. That's essentially to me what Sebastian Stan in that movie. Okay. Oh my god, that movie was so bad. Monday, haven't watched it. And honestly, I haven't watched it just because, dude, I'm realizing how much stuff he's in that I haven't watched. Political Animals, that's also on the watch list. He's in Black Swan. I obviously haven't watched Black Swan at all. The only thing I know about Black Swan is all the memes. Dude, my noses. Okay. What else is he? Dude, there's so much stuff. And I bet half of this stuff he's on the screen not even 10 minutes. If he's in on the screen for any more than 7 minutes and 45 seconds, I'll be shocked. I am excited to see. I don't typically watch DC movies. I honestly cannot tell you the last DC movie I watched, if I even watched one. People talking about all the Batman movies, I kind of sort of watched them. It was more of like my sister would watch them and she had them on in the background and I was just kind of like there in the room too, you know? So I haven't watched any of the Batman movies. I'm very clearly more on the Marvel leaning side of things, but I'm excited to I would go back and watch the Batman movies in order to, catch up on everything and then of course hang on. And then of course, watch the cuz isn't Robert Pattinson cuz he's Sebastian Stan has been signed for Batman Part 2. And he's supposed who is he playing again? Isn't he like a character that's like a 50-50? Oh, what's his name? Oh my god, I totally forgot that Scarlett Johansson got cast as his wife in the Batman movie. Oh my god, am I gonna get to see them kiss on the big screen? Sorry, I had to. Ew, that was cringe. But no, oh my god, I forgot I am gonna get to see them kiss on the big screen. Oh my god, I'm so freaking excited. What character? Isn't it Harvey Dent or something like that? Huh? Barry Keoghan. How do you say his last? Keoghan? Ain't that the little guy that dated Sabrina Carpenter? Harvey Dent. What did I say? Did I say Henry? Whatever. Oh, it says rumored. Barry Keoghan as the Joker. I remember seeing him in the Eternals. I have a love-hate relationship with the Eternals. And I also remember when Saltburn was like what everyone talked about. I didn't watch that movie. Should I watch the movie? I'm sorry, but his face is just so confusing. What else? Is that pretty much it? How did we get here? I used to know you so well. Sorry. But yeah, no, yeah, me thinks I'm gonna be sad for this movie. I guess I need to figure out where I can watch the first Robert Pattinson Batman movie. Oh, so that's what it says. Barry Keoghan was an unseen Arkham prisoner. So is that why he's rumored to be the Joker? I see. Where can I watch? HBO Max. Shout out to Evan. Evan's the reason, Evan's a real one. Shout out to Evan. Evan is the whole reason I've been able to watch The Pit and Heated Rivalry. So, he a real one for that. HBO Max. Okay. Might be doing that soon. Let's see. 4 stars on Letterboxd. Okay. From what I've heard, is it really just... Oh my god, I have to yawn again. Long day at work. 85 on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Oh, excuse me. What is this one specifically about? I'm sorry, but I can't like Logie looking at this picture of Robert Pattinson with like the long dark hair and like it swooped to the side. I can't help but think about Ruben's younger brother and how he looks right now. And like I'm not saying that like in a bad way. It just is giving that like, you know, boy with longer hair that mostly just wears black. Oh. Interesting. I like these pictures. Okay, well we're putting that on the watch. Who is that? That guy looks familiar. Who is that? Who are you? Who are you? Oscar Isaac. I knew that was Oscar Isaac. I'm getting way off track. What was Oscar Isaac in recently? Frankenstein. Ooh, Frankenstein. Oh, I could go on a whole nother thing about Frankenstein and how good of a movie that was. Like Guillermo, he put his whole ussy into Frankenstein. I am telling you, that was so good. And then I was on a cabin trip in December, I think, and one of the girls there, she was like, I didn't really care for Frankenstein that much. Oh, get out of my sight. Get out of my sight. It was so good. Anyway, I'm not gonna bring that up yet. I'm not gonna bring that up right now. I'm not bringing that up right now. Did I really just like only talk about Captain America and Bucky Barnes for like 2 seconds out of the whatever? Who gives a shit? We love clickbait. I genuinely don't know what else to talk about. Okay, well, since I don't have anything else to talk about on this like mini, yappy hour, I guess doesn't seem too bad for a first episode. So I guess I'm gonna call it there. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next episode of Yappy Hour. Bye!